start of the 2023 season for Ferrari has been bad. That much we all know. It's not been the start the team would have wanted or the start the Ferrari fans would have wanted, and I am one of those Ferrari fans. Last weekend, Saudi Arabian Grand Prix ended in a P6 for Carlos Sainz and a P7 for Charles Leclerc, having it to come back from starting P12 with a grid penalty, of course, but the team failed to have the pace to keep up with their rivals, specifically on the hard compound tyres. And then in the first race in Bahrain, it ended in P4 for Sainz while Leclerc retired after the control electronics quit on him. They're quite a ways off the pace sitters Red Bull, and as I said for Mercedes, God knows if Ferrari can challenge Red Bull this season. God knows if anyone can challenge Red Bull this season, because it kind of looks like the Austrian team are going to have an easy time of it this year, at least in terms of competition from other teams for the championships. But back to Ferrari. In Bahrain, they weren't great, and in Saudi, they were slower in the race than I think they expected to be, as I said, especially on the hard compound. And Ferrari not being that great to end up with in Saudi is something both drivers commented on after the race. Leclerc commenting that he felt there wasn't much more in the car and they need to work to find more pace. And when he was asked how much work is needed at Ferrari, he commented really a lot. And Sainz also commented that they're not where they want to be and they were expecting a better race pace at Saudi. Given how the first two race weekends have gone, it would be pretty easy to give up on Ferrari for 2023, but I don't think you should. 2022 wound up not being what it could have for the Italian team, as we all know, and also, as we all know, Mattia Binotto left his position as team principal to go do whatever he's gonna do after his gardening period of leave. And he left the team as a whole, and Ferrari brought in former Sauber CEO and Alfa Romeo team principal Frederic Vasseur as the replacement. And Vasseur is a man, he knows what he's doing, and he has a lot of experience in the position of managing racing teams. He was, as I just mentioned, the team principal and CEO of Sauber, and the Alfa Romeo team, the team that was at the bottom of the constructors table when he joined them in mid-2017. And then last year, Alfa Romeo had their best constructors finish in 10 years. He was also one of the founders of the ASM team that later became Art Grand Prix when Vasseur teamed up with Nicholas Todd to further expand its successful Formula 3 team. And Art Grand Prix is a team that has been hugely successful in junior formula and has brought some of F1's previous, current and potential future stars to junior Formula Championship success. Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton, Nico Hulkenberg, Jules Bianchi, Romain Grosjean, Valtteri Bottas, Esteban Ocon, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Nick de Vries, Victor Martins, to name a few. And Vasseur also founded Spark Racing Technology, a motorsport manufacturer that specializes in the development and engineering of high-performance electrical vehicles and modules. And it has been the sole chassis supplier of Formula E since day one and is also the official car provider for Extreme E. He is a man with a lot of experience in motorsport. And as much as some people maybe would have liked for Vasseur to be a sort of Ferrari Instafix, to word it one way, he would come in, everything would be fine and fixed. But that's not how racing works. That's not how life works. Things take time, change takes time, and that's why you shouldn't give up on Ferrari just yet. It's the beginning of the season with a new team principal who's going to be making changes and is making changes, and as I've said before, mainly on Twitter, it doesn't really matter how the first races go. What matters is how you respond to it and how you develop from there. Okay, yeah, it is worth noting. Have Ferrari got it right on the SF23? No, because if anything, they've gone backwards to where they were last season. They were second best to end up with last year, and now they're, I would say, probably tie third best with Mercedes. But what matters is how they develop this car to improve, and how they move forward into 2024, but welcome back to 2024. And I have no doubt that Vasseur will be changing Ferrari for the better, and it's already clear to see he has a different mindset of managing the team to what Binotto had, and I think this is going to be very beneficial for the team. Vasseur isn't beating around the bush, he's not bullshitting, he's not making excuses. And here's what he had to say after last weekend's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Satisfied? Not at all. Yesterday our pace wasn't bad. I think we were ahead of Aston Martin and Mercedes, and today it was not the case. We need to understand why we lost so much. At the beginning of the race, I would say it wasn't that bad, especially for Charles, who gained some positions, but with the hard tyres, everything fell apart. We need to understand what's wrong with those hard tyres, but let's be clear, I'm not criticising the tyres, it's us who don't know how to make them work. He was then asked if without the safety car, they could have maybe beaten Mercedes, and I will say I love his response. Well, if, without, maybe, I don't like that. We're behind and it's up to us to understand why and work on it. He also got asked what the first thing you'll ask the engineers would be, and this is what he had to say. To not bullshit ourselves. The most important thing is, in this situation, is to know where we are going well and what we are doing wrong. But we cannot bullshit ourselves. We have to change. We have to understand where we are wrong, what we have to push. It's not good enough to speak. We will not be faster like this. Not to compare, but while we do not know for sure what Binotto would have said and done in this situation, I'm willing to bet he probably wouldn't have been as honest and open as Vasseur's being, and I really do like how honest and to the point that Fred is being about all of this that's going on and where Ferrari are right now. And I think now having a leader with that kind of management mindset that Vasseur has in the long run is going to prove beneficial for the team. You know, someone not making excuses when they're not as good as they hope to be or expected to be, and instead just saying, look, we need to find out what's gone wrong and we need to work to fix it. Now, what about developments? Well, Carlos Sainz has spoken on this after the race last weekend. He said that they know exactly where their weaknesses are in the wind tunnel and where their weaknesses is here, like on track. And they know where to develop the car, which I suppose that's a good thing. And he mentioned that they obviously need time because they can't bring upgrades tomorrow. Those things don't happen instantly. It takes time. But he's sure the team is capable of bringing them early in the season. And he also mentioned that they know more or less when their developments are going to come and they know what they're targeting and that they should help. And now word is from Formula Uno that Vasseur said Ferrari will have new parts in Australia that will help them, and I seriously hope that's true. And in that same article from Formula Uno about Vasseur saying that Ferrari will have new parts in Australia, he also said these two things. Motivating the group, it is my task. We must remain calm and united to push to the maximum and improve the current situation. The machine has potential, but we cannot extract, and this must be one of our objectives, to extract the potential, get the potential of the car extracted, of course. Looking at the gap with the others would be a wrong way to work. We need to look at ourselves and focus on what we can do to improve. The machine must always be developed in all areas. Now we go back to Maranello, we analyse the data, and we will prepare for Melbourne. The drivers are not giving up either. Reportedly, Leclerc has said, "My biggest wish is to win here. Let's not dramatise. The start of the season was disappointing, but I assure you that we're working a lot. I didn't lose faith." And Sainz has also made comments. "We were not happy on Sunday, but here no one quits. I'm not resigning. We are the Ferrari, us. And we will give it everything to prove it." As I said, God knows if they can challenge Red Bull for the championships this year. Like I said, God knows if anyone can, because Red Bull are clear of the competition right now. And for all we know, at the moment it looks like it could just be a straight fight between the Red Bull drivers. But who knows? But from what we're hearing, Ferrari, the team is motivated, the drivers are motivated, and I'm confident Ferrari can still challenge for race wins at some point this season, so I wouldn't give up on them just yet. Also, one more thing on development. I do not know how true this is, so take it for what you will. But rumor is that Ferrari's 2024 concept will be similar to the Red Bull concept. Again, I do not know how true that is, but I thought it was worth a mention. And finally, I do just want to close this off by mentioning a couple of positives about Ferrari, because I feel like the good isn't often mentioned with Ferrari right now. Like, for example, in both races so far this year, Leclerc has had insane starts. Like, seriously, have you seen them? The start in Bahrain? That was insane. And in Saudi as well. The soft tires, the new soft tires have been paying dividends for him on the starts. And also, in the first two races this year, Ferrari have had the fastest pit stops with Leclerc in both of them. Sainz has a good pit stops as well. The pit stops from the whole team has been brilliant. And given how Ferrari have struggled with this area in the past, it's great to see how they've improved. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that they did like 2,000 practice pit stops or something like that. Or something crazy, absolutely insane. But unfortunately, you don't win the championship on pit stops. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new to keep up to date with all my Formula 1 content. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.